replies that we had filed, the counter reply. This counter reply came to be filed today. The complainant also explained to the authority the nature of his reply and highlighted a few aspects to that. But since the matter was posted only for reply, no arguments were heard today, and the matter is now posted for final arguments on the 13th of October at 11 a.m., on which date the arguments would be advanced based on the documents relied upon by the parties and based on the submissions that have been already been made by the parties in the complaint and in the replies.
So what about the lease agreement between the Digamas and ATOL?
See, under the law, there is a distinction between an agreement of lease and a lease deed. Agreement for lease just says that parties would enter into a lease deed if they so wish to. Under the Transfer of Property Act, Section 106, read with Section 17 of the Registration Act, every lease has to be by a registered document. If a lease is not by a registered document, that lease is not valid under the law. Section 49 of the Registration Act clearly says that no such lease is admissible in evidence. So this agreement for lease never culminated into a lease deed, and therefore no rights were created to the parties under this. Thank you very much. Please ask that to ATOL.
As directed by the Excise Commissioner at the last hearing, I have today filed my response, my detailed response to the reply and the further reply filed by Anthony Digama. My response has today been taken on record, and the Excise Commissioner was pleased to fix the matter now for final hearing, the final arguments on 13th of October. I have today, in my reply, stated to the Excise Commissioner that the stand taken by Anthony Digama that he would be covered under the Portuguese law is totally rubbish. In fact, I have placed today before the Excise Commissioner a judgment of Bombay High Court passed in the year 1916, which is on this very point, because once a person is not domiciled in Goa, because Anthony Digama in his power of attorney and other places has clearly stated that he is a permanent resident of Mumbai. So this Portuguese law anyways would not be attracted to this case, because the Anthony Digama's advocate has tried to dodge the issue by saying that he would be covered under the Portuguese law. I have explained to the Excise Commissioner that an excise license is not an asset that can be a party to the inventory proceedings. An excise license is under no stretch of imagination an asset. It is just a permission, a license issued to a particular person to run the excise business, and the excise license expires with the death of the license holder. But I brought this judgment on the domiciled part just to explain that in any ways that judgment was just, the Portuguese law was cited just to distract the attention of this authority. Now I have today placed a lease agreement signed on behalf of Anthony Digama and 8 All Food and Beverages, a company which is partnershiped by another company of which Mr. Zubin Irani, the husband of Union Minister for Women and Child Development, Smriti Irani, is a director. So the whole world knew that Smriti Irani's family was running this place, running this restaurant, which was serving the best of pork and beef for all to eat. But now the truth has come that by documents. So this lease agreement came into effect from 1st of January 2021. And Anthony Gama applies for this excise license on 5th of January 2021. So my question in my reply today and while making my submissions today was that if the premises was already leased out for 10 years, how do you apply for an excise license for that same premises? So this is a big fraud committed on the excise department. I have also pointed out that the food and drug license issued by the Food and Drug Administration is also in the name of 8 All Food and Beverages. I further pointed out that the GST number is also in the same name, 8 All's Food and Beverages. So nothing is in the name of Anthony de Gama. This was all a forgery done intentionally, and that lease agreement was notarized before the same notary who is today representing Anthony Gama before the Excise Commissioner. So I have, in the end of my reply, besides, because this license, now there is no question of suspending the license, because after all these facts have come to light, this license needs to be cancelled outright. But I have in my reply also sought that criminal proceedings need to be initiated against all those who have been responsible for falsifying, suppressing information, and taking the excise department for a ride. I have also pointed out that with the excise application, there was no restaurant license, which is mandatory. I pointed out to the Excise Commissioner today that the Citizens Charter of the Excise Department makes it very clear that there is need of a restaurant license to be produced when you apply for an excise license. So that was also not done. The 2 affidavits submitted by Anthony de Gama along with his application were also not notarized. So all this was done in a hurry, and I have stated in my reply today that Anthony Gama and his agents have done all this in January 2021, trying to take advantage of the pandemic and the lockdown that was then in effect. So they thought they could take things for a ride, but unfortunately the Right to Information Act has caught up with them, and today the whole truth is out. So we will now have to wait for October 13th, which will be the day the final arguments will be heard.
तुम्ही युनियन मिनिस्टर स्मृती इराणी जी आहेत, तिने आपली पॉवर मिसयूज केला, तिचा हेल्प घेतलाय सगळे लोकांचे फॅमिली मेंबर, शी इन्वॉल्व.
See, I am now more than convinced that the union minister has been exerting her pressure on the authorities from day one. This is very clear because the restaurant has been running from January of 2021. Residents of Assagao have been complaining on a day-to-day basis to the police authorities that music was being played at this restaurant till 3-4 in the morning. Complaints were made to the police every day, but not a single day did the police act. So that is only on account of the political pressure. And if you see the records, the manner in which this excise license was processed and issued, it could be to only somebody very influential. Because with incomplete documents falsified documents, you have issued an excise license and then you renew the excise license in June of this year in the name of a dead person. So all this has come to light. I'm sure the rule of law will prevail and this license will be cancelled. But the job doesn't stop there. We need to make sure that those responsible in this forgery are brought to book.
Even excise departments fail.
Yes, we have sought because one of the issues framed by the excise commissioner to decide this case, the second issue framed is whether there were irregularities on the part of the department, and definitely there have been. The records themselves speak for themselves. Thank you.
What is the